Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the best everyday eyeshadow palettes. I can't believe that I've never done this video before. First of all, I have so many eyeshadow palettes. Second of all, I love everyday looks, you know? And I thought it'd be fun to sit down and film a video where I just share with you guys my top picks for an everyday eyeshadow palette. So this does not necessarily include my personal all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes, but they're the best for basic colors for my go-to looks. There's nothing scary in here as far as color choices go. Everything is extremely wearable. I love the color stories in all of these palettes, and I also made sure to choose palettes that are in a ton of different price ranges, so let's just get right into it. When I was sitting down to plan this video, this was the first palette that popped into my mind. This is the ColourPop California Love eyeshadow palette. This retails for $18. And the reason why I love this palette is because you can go very simple with it by using some of the matte shades in here, such as this one right here called the Bay. This one right here is also great for all over the lid. This is an amazing transition shade. And then there's also some beautiful metallics. If you're somebody who likes to wear warm tones and you do lean a little bit more glamorous with your everyday looks, this would be an amazing palette for you. I get so much use out of this. I'm actually wearing this glitter right here all over the eyes. It is such a beautiful just color scheme, and it really is so flattering, and it would be so flattering on so many different skin tones. This is going to match a lot of different lip colors as well. It's just a foolproof eyeshadow palette, and I would definitely recommend this again for somebody who loves warm neutrals, and maybe you do some everyday looks with matte shadows, but you also tend to lean a little bit on the glamorous bronzy side when it comes to eye looks. This would be an amazing palette for somebody like that. I love this one. The next palette that I wanted to share with you is actually one that's kind of recent to my collection. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. So the reason why I chose this one as well, similar to the California Love palette, this has gorgeous neutrals in here that lean a little bit more warm toned and a little more golden. You're gonna get a lot of matte shades in here, which I personally tend to reach for on an everyday basis, but then you still get some glamorous shimmer shades. What you won't get in here is a pressed glitter, so if you're somebody who doesn't really care for glitters on the eyes, but you are somebody who likes to do some bronzier glam looks sometimes, this would be a great palette for you because it really is so versatile and you can do so many different everyday looks, but then you can really amp it up for evening with these two shades here and even this shade all over the lid. And there's also this really fun yellow gold color that's really fun to pop in the inner corner of the eye just for something extra. Here's a better look at the palette up close. I really do feel like this is a great neutral palette. It leans a little bit more warm tone, so if you're someone who's into that, I feel like you would definitely like this. I do find myself reaching for this a ton as well, especially for these mustardy matte tones up here and for these bronzy golden tones that are in the shimmers. I think it's a beautiful palette and it really can work for every day, but you can also amp it up for evening time, which is great. And before I forget, this palette retails for $49. I would not be able to film this video and not put this in here. This is the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. This is one of my favorite palettes of all time, and I personally feel like this could work for a number of people. Here's what the color scheme looks like. You're gonna get a lot of gorgeous mattes for every day. All of these are so beautiful. Look at all these matte shades in here. I think they're so pretty. The thing that's really nice about this is you can really amp it up for evening since there's a matte black shade in here. There's also this gorgeous cranberry shade. There's some really pretty metallics, so it's definitely going to be something that you can make extremely glamorous if you want to, and even do a smoky eye because of the deep shades in here. But most of the palette leans on the neutral side, and it leans very toward the everyday spectrum in my opinion, especially with these matte tones. If you're somebody who doesn't like to wear too much on the eyelid, I feel like even these shimmer shades are really beautiful to just pat all over the lid with something matte through the crease and a little bit of something deeper on the outer edge. Then you just pop on mascara and you're good to go, and it's just going to be a really soft look for every day. This is such a beautiful palette. This is a great like special occasion palette as well. If there's any brides out there, anybody getting married, anybody attending a wedding, this is an amazing bridal palette in my opinion. I wish I had this on my wedding day. It wasn't launched when I got married, otherwise I definitely would have used it. But this is one of my all-time favorite palettes, and I feel like it's so versatile, and I also feel like it's something you can wear year-round. I feel like you can use a lot of these tones for some gorgeous fall makeup looks, but then some of these pinks lean more toward the spring and summer spectrum, you know? So you get a lot of different shades in here, but they all go together. It's very easy to use and the formula is amazing. This palette retails for $42 and it's honestly one of my all-time favorites. All right, this next palette is one that honestly not that many people talk about, and I really feel like it needs to be talked about more. This is from KKW Beauty. You can see on the outside it's well loved by me. Here are what these shades look like on the inside, and the thing I love about this one is not that many of my palettes have these two shades in here. Actually, like these three shades, which really, I don't know, I just feel like they're so unique and different, but very wearable for every day. And you can go in all sorts of directions with this palette. So for example, for me, sometimes I'll put this in the transition area. I'll use this as an all over lid shade, and you have a really soft kind of purpley mauve look, or you can do something that's gonna be more mustardy and then deepen it up with this shade and have this shade all over the lid, and you've got a nice everyday bronze look. You can also put this all over the lid and just leave it as is and pop on some mascara. It's a great all over lid color. You could also use these three shades right here for more of an evening look. This palette seriously is one of my absolute favorites. I love the formula on this. It's very travel friendly. I feel like I can get so many different looks out of this, and I can really amp things up and make it look more glam, or I can keep it pretty neutral. But there's something about these three shades being in here that really add to my collection. And if you're somebody who is really familiar with eyeshadows and you like to play with color sometimes, but you still need a palette that's going to give you everyday looks, I feel like this would be a great one to reach for, because you do get some different colors in there, but no matter what you pair them with, it's going to look really nice and really wearable for every day. So this is a fabulous palette. This one retails for $45. This next palette is also a very recent palette to my collection. It's actually a dupe for the Natasha Denona Biba palette, which is another amazing neutral palette, especially for every day. But for some reason, this Sahara palette, or the dupe version, is really travel friendly, and it's a lot more affordable as well, so I don't feel as bad traveling with it. I'm not as worried to break it and things like that. I love my Natasha Denona palettes, and I reach for those, especially on special occasions. It's really just a way for me to treat myself, I guess, but this is an amazing palette as well. This is the Alter Ego Sahara palette, and here's what the inside looks like. So again, it's a dupe for the Natasha Denona Biba palette, which is an amazing neutral palette. The thing I really like about this palette and also the Biba palette is it's lined up in a way to where you can do a look based off of the rose. So you have your warm tones here, you have your neutral tones here that are a little bit more in the berry family, and then you have your cool tones where you can create a smoky eye. There's some gorgeous mattes in here. There's also some really wearable shimmers. If you're somebody who leans more on the cool tone side and you like to do a little bit of a smoky eye even on an everyday basis, this would be an amazing palette for you. I absolutely love this palette. I feel like it's such a great one for every day. And again, it would work on so many different skin tones. This one specifically is also really nice in size, so it's travel friendly. It's just a great on-the-go palette where, again, you can create a gorgeous matte eye look, because there's so many matte shades in here, but you can also really amp it up and make things glamorous by adding the matte black or using some of the grays and then some of the bronze tones all over the lid. It's super versatile and really, really beautiful. You just can't go wrong with all these colors. There's a lot of options in here, which is also great, and for the price, this is amazing. This retails for $16. I absolutely love that one. If you're somebody who usually wears more taupey colors or you lean more toward the cool tones, this is an amazing eyeshadow palette. This is the Milani Soft and Sultry palette. Sorry, it's like so greasy. I got setting spray all over it. This is the inside of the palette. This one's amazing because you get so many matte tones in here, but then you get this really beautiful row of taupey shimmers. This definitely leans a little bit more smoky and a little bit more on the cool tone side of things, but you really can make amazing everyday looks with this. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I know some people don't really like the way warm tones look on their eyes. And if you're somebody like that and you reach more for these taupey brown and even grayish brown kind of colors, like these deep tones down here, this would be an amazing palette. It is an amazing palette. And the thing I like about this palette is if you really don't know which direction to go, you can go just down the row here and create a look using all of the shades in this row. So this one would be 4 perfect shades for an everyday look. This one right here would be something if you wanted to make it a little bit more deep, a little bit more glam, but it would still be wearable for every day. And then these 4 tones are amazing for a night out. So I really like how they lined everything up in this palette. Makes it very easy to choose a look. So I wanted to share that one with you guys. This one retails for $14.97 at Walmart. On some websites, it goes up to $19.99. So sometimes the price varies on this depending on what retailer you buy it from, but at Walmart, it is usually around $15. All right, let's talk about this palette right here. This is from Persona Cosmetics. This is the Identity palette. palette. And on the back it says, this is the ultimate eyeshadow palette for brown eyes. Obviously you don't have to have brown eyes to wear this, but I think it's kind of cool because I get a lot of questions from people who have brown eyes saying, hey, what colors would flatter me the most? So it's kind of cool that this is a palette that's specifically geared toward people with brown eyes. So if that's you, you might really enjoy this one. Obviously, I have blue eyes and I still really love the color scheme in this. This one has beautiful mattes. I love how many matte tones are in this. But then there's also some really unique shimmer shades. Again, you can really amp things up for evening here, but all of these are going to be beautiful and neutral, and they're going to suit a lot of different skin tones and a lot of different eye colors. I'm actually mostly wearing this palette on the eyes. I have the shade Maverick, and then I'm wearing the shade Bombshell and a little bit of Seductive, and then I have some of the other shades from the other palettes. I used a mauve shade from the KKW Beauty palette right here, and then of course the ColourPop glitter, but anyways, the majority of my eye look is this palette, and I really feel like it's just soft and subtle and just foolproof. The formula of these are also really beautiful, and you get a nice mirror at the top. This palette retails for $32, and it's just really good quality, again, really travel friendly, and I like how there's a good mix of warm and cool tones in here. I think it's really versatile that way, so I knew I had to share that one with you guys in this video. Alright, the last two palettes I have to share with you are for those of you who don't really like to wear shimmers on an everyday basis. I know there's people out there who just don't, and so I picked two matte palettes for those of you who might prefer that. They're both in different price ranges. I'll show you this one first. This is the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte Eyeshadow Palette. First of all, this smells like an absolute dream. Oh my gosh, I love how this smells. This palette is amazing for anybody who loves more warm tones and who loves matte eyeshadows, obviously. It's also amazing for anybody who likes to lean towards the more cranberry tones when you do like to play with color, because there's these beautiful colors right here. But the majority of these colors are perfect for every day. They layer beautifully together, they blend out like a dream, and they're just awesome for every day. So if you're somebody who likes warm tones and you normally wear matte shadows, this would be an amazing one for you. This palette retails for $45. And this last palette is just for anybody who likes matte tones in general. There's neutral, there's cool, and there's warm tones in here, which is amazing. This is also from Milani. It's the Most Loved Mattes palette. And here's what this one looks like on the inside. I love this one because, again, they lined it up in a way where you can do a neutral look with these mattes, you can do more of a cool tone look with these purples, and then you have a nice warm tone look if you use these four shades. Obviously, you do not have to go row by row. You can definitely mix and match, which is what I personally do all the time. But if you're somebody who just loves mattes for every day, this is an amazing palette, especially if you're somebody who kind of goes between neutral, cool, and warm tones depending on what you're wearing or your mood or the season. This is a fabulous palette. The formula is great, and this also retails for around $15 at Walmart. Well, that was fun. I really enjoyed filming this video, and I hope you guys found it helpful. Everything will be listed and linked down below if you guys are interested in checking out any of these eyeshadow palettes. I know they're not all brand new palettes, but that's not the point of this video. The point was just to create a video featuring the palettes that I personally feel like the majority of us would really gravitate towards on an everyday basis. So I honestly hope that you guys found this helpful. Let me know if you would like to see a video about just my favorite eyeshadow palettes in general, because I do have some that have a little bit more color in there, as well as more wearable tones that I really do reach for on an everyday basis, but I also like to reach for them on more glamorous occasions. So if you guys want to see a video where I'm talking about just eyeshadow palettes in general, not necessarily geared toward every single day, let me know. I would love to make that video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for today's video. I would love to know in the comments what your favorite go-to everyday eyeshadow palette is, so be sure to leave that in the comments below. Thanks again for watching my video. You guys are the absolute best. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!